The topic of AI in a SOC is coming up everywhere. And today we have Gordon from D3 talking about their unique approach to AI in a SOC. Sometimes when you hear discussions with challenges of AI SOC or agentic SOC, a lot of people come up and say it reminds them of SOAR. You were an actual SOAR vendor doing AI SOC. So what is special about AI SOC if it were implemented by a SOAR vendor?
So we come from that background. And so when we built, so we had a bit of an advantage from other vendors in that we actually understood, because we performed all the integrations, so we actually understood the source systems, that is the EDR products and the identity products and the network security products. And we understood them quite well because we had a team of like 20 people who all they did for a living was build integrations. So we came from that background. That helped a lot. We also saw the issues with these fixed playbooks. And what happened is that we actually naively, we're very naive, okay, about 3 years ago, we thought we could build what we called vendor-specific playbooks. We actually thought that with this team, they could understand all the major products, basically, understand them very, very well, understand.
Oh, wow. That's like plus 2 windmills right there, right?
We got nowhere. 18 months, and they barely got through, 1 or 2 EDR products.
And they changed while you were building support for 2 EDRs out of 10. Once you finish the second, the first changes, and you never get to a third, right? That's the story, right?
And so that's where the this autonomous AI product, which is we call Morpheus, that's where Morpheus came. Because when we saw the LLMs, so this would have been in about 3 years ago, we saw the LLMs and we were like, wait a minute, this could be what we need to solve this problem. And we kind of looked and said, okay, where's the puck going? We really thought, okay, how far can these LLMs go? We totally underestimated how powerful they would become.
This is also not uncommon, right? The industry is full of people who believe they would be AGI in a month, and people who believe they're better spell checker, right? Like both camps you can meet if you go to a security conference. You have the AGI in a month and better spell checker group.
Well, but they've improved so much more than we projected. But we felt that tool could help us, and so what we did is we built Morpheus. And what we thought we could, and we did. So we believed that we could just do away with fixed playbooks. And how we did that is that Morpheus, it builds contextual playbooks. What it does, to be honest with you, the playbook is a byproduct. So Morpheus does contextual triage, and it produces a playbook on the fly. So it basically builds a playbook. So every time it ingests an alert, it actually builds a playbook. And the playbooks are still /workflows are still good because visually they're a great way to see the entire triage, and it's a great way to audit as well. Quickly make changes. So the SOAR vendor, the playbook is now a byproduct of triage. And so Morpheus basically takes the alert, say an EDR alert, it starts with the alert, and then it performs contextual analysis. And what it does is that it starts and it tries to do attack path discovery. So that's what it's always trying to do. And so, that again is a buzzword as well. But so what it does is that it takes, say, from starting from EDR, takes the alert, and then it starts looking at the functions, the behaviors, so through functions, and then it just starts, querying the EDR product and starts linking functions, and then it starts taking that and it actually starts querying across the tech stack. So that's the thing, is the gaps. So we focus heavily on the gaps between the products. So as you know, company could have 5, 10, 20 different security products, and those gaps. So Morpheus is very good at linking functions and across the gap. So what we did is that we took a team, this is taking 24 months to bring this product to market. So we have a team of, data science.
Actually, what took most of the time? Now, this is actually sort of a very interesting question because I've met people who started AI SOC vendors from scratch, and they went quick and then immediately tripped over something that everybody who worked for a SIM vendor for 2 years would know. And they like, bam, hit the wall. And they're like, well, what is this? Why is there a wall here? And everybody who runs a SIM vendor is like, yeah, we hit it in 2008. Welcome to the club, guys. So I'm just curious, the SOAR to AI SOC transition, what was your, tough, tough challenge, if I were to ask?
What took so long to build this Morpheus, like 24 months. I mean, we had a team of 60 people, which is crazy. We have 90 developers, 60 were on this project. It was a huge investment. And it's, data scientists, it's red teamers, it's SOC analysts, it's software developers. And so you put all that together, and that's how you get, Morpheus with the large language model. Why it was so hard? It was so hard to build the cybersecurity knowledge base that Morpheus relies on. That was the hard part. The LLM, the LLM's the LLM. I mean, there's so many great LLMs. To be honest with you, Morpheus you can actually choose your own LLM, because Morpheus breaks down the problem. So it sends out bite-sized requests to the LLM. So it breaks the problem down, and it's those relationships. So think about all the relationships, potential relationships. Think about red teaming, all the potential relationships. Morpheus has a massive inventory of relationships and it's those gaps, those relationships in the gaps between your products. So a company that has it goes with one vendor, which is fine, but may not need Morpheus as much, obviously. But a company that has multi-vendors, so they have 5, 10, 20. I mean, we've got customers that have 30 cybersecurity products, which is crazy. But
yeah, 30. Yeah, it's even the. Actually, that's a low number from what I've heard. Yeah.
Well, the gaps between those products, that's what Morpheus is doing. It's basically finding the functions between those gaps. It's very, very difficult, to be honest. It was much more difficult than we thought. We've been working like night and day on this thing for 24 months, and we had a lot of, as you said, we went backwards a lot, and it was very, very difficult to do. But we're very confident. We've tested this, this product, and customers have tested it, and basically, it will do a incredible job at triage. It's beyond that L1 bot. So you got a lot of L1 bots on the market right now, which is good. We all need, the industry needs it, but it's beyond that. It's not a level 3. But you can think about it.
That's not an expectation that you would handle something completely new, thrown at it for the first time ever. Yeah, that part is very clear. Like nobody is really aiming there, and the people who aim there would miss.
Yeah. So basically, it does all the the work for a tier 3 to be able to go to a problem and see all this stuff's been done for me. So it's but it's beyond an L1 bot, and it's because it's so simple, to be honest with you. You're a SOC analyst, and you have all these products you have to deal with. So first off, you have to understand these products, and there's hundreds of functional API calls for each product. Which one do you call? It's very, very, very difficult. If a SOC, we look at it this way: if a SOC analyst, whether it's tier 1 or tier 2, has an hour for every alert, 2 hours for every alert, great. They're going to be very competitive with Morpheus. But Morpheus has unlimited cycles. I mean, Morpheus, there's no limit to the amount of queries it can do. There's no limit. So that's it. It just has a processing advantage. So after you map, so you take all this knowledge, right, and you embed it into Morpheus, which is a huge advantage. So that gives it a big leg up. It has all these relationships, these functional relationships, and then it has this massive processing capability and this ability to query a system and actually understand the system. So it doesn't matter, if it's 100 or 200 API calls, it's able to figure out which one to call. So that's what the benefit of Morpheus has, is it just has this processing. And if you embed the knowledge, you spend 12 months, 24 months embedding the knowledge, then, it has an advantage, out of the gate.
Yeah, and that part makes sense. I think that's probably the easiest expectation that AI would actually meet. Yeah, by doing that. So I want to ask another question. I feel like some of the agentic AI and AI and SOC vendors are struggling a lot with local context, local knowledge. You mentioned LLM being trained in the lab. You mentioned teaching it security, but what are the ways you actually integrate local quirks, local peculiarities? Yes, we have the CDR, but we do it that way, not the other way. Like, how do you deal with that? That to me has been quite painful even for well-meaning, well-funded vendors in this area.
Well, we're lucky we have lots of customers, so we're able to learn from the customers. I mean, we first off, we had all this knowledge from the SOAR of building playbooks and working with these big customers, and then we're able to work with them. So we're able to modify, and Morpheus has this self-learning capability. So Morpheus can, you can tune Morpheus. So our team, when we implement, we're there with you. We're tuning it for your unique situation. So remember, it's always looking for these functions. So if you're doing something special on the ADR, you're still, Morpheus is still able to query it. And so we can handle specifics of a customer, especially industries, like healthcare, banking, it's very, very, they're very, very unique. And so we're able to work with them to modify Morpheus for those particular cases.
But right, but also, you have to modify it, or the system learns from the site. I think that,
well, the self-learning.
I was less curious about the vendor doing the screwdriver thing on an installed software. I was kind of more curious about how can the system integrate customer-specific ways of doing things. More that than you tuning it.
Yeah, so Morpheus has a self-learning capability. It basically, remember, it self-learns through the attack path. So it's always looking at, whether it's new threat intelligence that comes in or something specific within a customer. It actually self-learns. So it basically runs through the functions and tries to build the attack path. And remember, it's always doing multiple attack paths. So it's the attack path, as long as it has, it can build these functional relationships across your tech stack, and it can do that on its own. And like we also are, I keep coming back to, we also have these healthcare customers, and we have these banking customers, and we have these manufacturers and pharmaceutical. So we're able to work with them. When we were building this knowledge base out, we were able to get very specific requirements from these customers, and we built it in. But the key is Morpheus is always going to improve. So Morpheus is good today. It's going to be great 6 months, and it's going to be great 12 months. Partly because of large language models improve it, but more importantly, because we can continue to improve the attack path, and both in our lab and at the customer site, and if there's very particular micro adjustments based on a vertical, or how a certain bank does things which is slightly different than another bank, then Morpheus can take advantage of that.
Yeah, no, that part makes sense. And I think that self-learning is also something that's, showed up in vendor marketing glosses for at least 10 years. So I hope there is kind of more modern substance behind how you absorb the information from the environment, how you absorb past cases, for example, how you absorb other knowledge that makes this company a bank and this company a hospital.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you another example where it's you've got what we call drift. There's a lot of drift. That is, there's always changes being made, and even within verticals, the detections, are different. So Morpheus has this what we call self-healing on the integration side. It's basically self-healing everywhere. But so Morpheus is working every day, and it's ingesting alerts at your, at your SOC, within your SOC. It's ingesting alert. It goes, oh, okay, this alert I know, so it runs it through the attack path, knows what other relationships to look for. And then Morpheus gets a modified detection or a new detection. So Morpheus takes that and puts it through its own stream. So basically, it just goes to another stream. And in that stream, it starts iterating. And large language models are, one thing they're good at is they can iterate and iterate thousands of times, So we have this, we have this ability in Morpheus to take that alert and then just keep iterating until it solves the integration problem and runs it through the attack path. So, and that sounds like, not a big deal, but it is a big deal because you need the ability. SOAR, I guess it comes from our background as SOAR. It was so painful that we want to solve this problem. So we want every event to be ingested, every alert to be ingested. And we don't want breakage. And the benefits of large language models, they allow us to do this iteration. So it's almost like, it's not quite brute force because it's much smarter than that, but it's still that iterative approach to ensure that alert eventually gets ingested. So we think it's like, I don't know, between 80 and 95%. And then if it still does not solve the problem, then it'll show the SOC administrator exactly where the problem is. But we all think hopefully next year it will be 100% self-healing. But basically that's a big problem.
Self-healing to me is one other of the trigger words a little bit because, for many of the snowflake environments, when things are built in a unique way, I am just afraid of the vendor trained, vendor provided automation. So I don't want to go full on skeptic on you, but going back to Cisco announcing self-healing networks in 2004, was it 2004? In any case, I think that this is, to me, is a little triggering. So I'll try not to get too triggered. But how do you make safe? How do you make self-healing safe? Like this, to me, is the main argument where I struggle is people say self-heal, and I say you ruined my systems by automation. So how do you make self-healing safe?
Well, I mean, you should be skeptical, to be honest with you, because it was very difficult. So, but we're not doing like Cisco self-healing. So we're doing like we have a new detection. So they've made a change. So the vendor made a change. So they either modified a detection or they created a new detection. So we're able to take that detection, read the detection, understand the context, and then compare it to other, we're obviously comparing it to other detections, and we're trying to find the gaps. And then from that gap, we're basically trying to understand that gap, by leveraging the large language model. And then we have the attack path, which you can run it through. So if it fails the attack path, fails the attack path. So we just keep going until it goes through. But remember, I didn't say, we want to get to 100%, but today we're at like 80 to 95%. So it's going to pop up on the screen for the administrator to look at, but we're going to be very specific that, it's not working because of this. So it's not, so I should take a step back. It's 80 to 95% self-healing. Okay. So I'm taking a big step back here. So, but we think that that's still better than just breaking and then having someone in a SOAR or XDR world trying to fix the problem. So we go a long way to solving the problem with the integration. I mean, it's a very difficult problem, but we think we've come a long way. We're pretty confident we've come a long way. And remember, everything,
it's not, yeah.
it's, Morpheus, like other products out there, is an open book. So everything that's done, basically, from the alert ingestion, the triage, everything's there. You can see exactly what Morpheus did, even the thinking behind it. And then for the workflows themselves, everything's there, and all the logic is there. So it's you can audit it, so which is great for GRC, but you can also see it yourself as a SOC analyst, and then you can actually, if the key comes down to, you have to trust the logic, but you have to check it. You have to check everything. So we kind of worry that people are just going to let Morpheus run without auditing. And so we stress, you need to audit. You need to look at the logic in Morpheus. It's so important. So your job, comes down to like auditing the steps of Morpheus to be confident. And I think auditing these products, Morpheus and other products, is very, very important, extremely important that they audit. And the other thing is that, on the response side, so, Morpheus obviously is going to make recommendations on the response, but we still, maybe it's a SOAR background, but we still believe that, you hand it off, and then any response, unless it's very basic, there has to be a human involved. So the response side, I get nervous when these agentic products say that they built in the response. From our experience in SOAR, that's very few organizations are going to allow that. So the response part, still is going to be, more of a fixed playbook type approach, where you have someone within the SOC or outside of the SOC approve the response. I think that's extremely important.
That makes sense. And I think that's definitely resorting to a human is one way to be safe. Given the timing, I want to kind of do a quick summary. And as a summary question, I want to ask you one thing that I've seen a lot of people struggle with. How do you measure success with this? A lot of people say we'll add AI to a SOC, we'll have AI SOC. Great. But what gets better? How do you know? Like, tell us more how your customers actually know they've succeeded. Their operations have gotten better. Their SOC is, more SOCy. Their DNR detects better. Give me some robust metrics you are seeing at clients for when this is deployed.
Everyone talks about, the labor savings and all this stuff, but I'm going to talk more about the quality. We believe that the quality of the triage is better. We believe that the quality of triage is better. So we're more, what kind of wows. So when people see our product, the first thing they're like, this is so simple, because the alert comes in, and then Morpheus does its thing, right? It does the attack. Then it spits out a playbook, and they're like, wow, this is magic. And that's why I come back to the audit. It's so important. So we believe that the quality, what we want is quality. The quality of the triage, we believe, will get better. That's what our goal is. The volume, I mean, Morpheus can handle 100 million alerts a day. So the volume is insane. So you can throw, and we anticipate this, people are going to be throwing a lot at this product. So we believe that there's going to be obviously some time savings. It's kind of like the analogy I use is, there's this folklore story called Paul Bunyan. So, so Paul Bunyan, he would take his axe and he'd clear a forest on his own. He was a giant. And then Disney did a beautiful animation once where they did the story of Paul Bunyan. And at the end, a man shows up with a chainsaw. And the man has a chainsaw, and they have a competition, and the man with the chainsaw wins. So we believe that Morpheus is kind of like a chainsaw. Morpheus and other products are like a chainsaw. And you still need the lumberjack or the SOC analyst. It's just that they can do so much more. And so there is that, it's like getting 1,000, SOC analysts. So there is that benefit too. So, but we're more interested in quality. So we're a year from now, we're going to be measuring, we're going to be more interested in the quality of the triage and incident response improve.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. That's the triage quality to me, and if you can measure quality, that's great. But the idea is that to me, then this shifts the problem to measuring quality. How do you measure quality? I agree that labor savings obsession is a little unhealthy
Mm-hmm.
because, and I've seen a very unhealthy examples of people taking this in the wrong direction. But when I hear quality, I want to support it, but I also don't understand how to measure it. How do you know good triage from bad triage then?
It comes down to the auditability of it. The audit is key. So if you look at the logic behind and compare it to what you were doing before, only because you didn't have an hour to 2 hours per alert. So if you compare the two, we believe that you'll say, okay, Morpheus did 100, 200 things more, and it also did it in a more comprehensive way. That is, looking, just the fact that you can, on every alert, look at the gaps across your tech stack. That alone is very, very important. Now, I know you can do it. SIM was supposed to do it. SOAR was supposed to do it. But I think we have a brand new weapon that if you push it to its limit today, it can do. It can allow you to do that, and basically find the functions / behaviors amongst your tech stack, and cover those gaps. I think that is going to lead to better quality.
Perfect. That's an excellent way to conclude our discussion. Again, this with some of these technologies, certainly the proof is in the pudding, and I definitely hope to see pudding very soon. Thank you very much for all your
100%.
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for the interview. Great questions. And you're right, proof is in the pudding. It is. It is.